All right, you guys, thank you for agreeing to chat with me about your experience in therapy.
Yeah, no problem.
Um, the first question I wanted to ask you is what led to your decision to seeking therapy?
Um, to be honest, we were on the verge of breaking up, and we did still love each other, so we wanted to make it work, and we were both open to the idea, so we just thought we'd give it a shot. Um, I've always heard good things about therapy, so you know it wasn't too hard of a decision, but we needed to do it for the sake of our relationship.
I also feel like there were times when we were questioning whether or not we were still in love. Um, and we were wondering, should we try to work it out? Should we stay together? And a lot of that stuff, we didn't know the answers. So we felt it clearly wasn't working with just us two trying to figure it out on our own. So why not give therapy a shot, and then maybe that would determine whether or not we would stay together.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So, one to kind of help decide if you wanted to stay together or not, and then also knowing you still loved each other and hoping there was a way you could figure out how to make it work.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. And was this both of you the first time seeking therapy, either as individuals or as a couple?
As an individual, no, I had seen a therapist before, and that's one of the reasons why I was a little hesitant for couples therapy because the it wasn't really helpful. I was talking the whole time, and I felt like the entire session was me explaining my story, and then at the very end, that was it. And I left thinking I could have just did this with my friends who already know the situation, and I wouldn't have to had explained myself so much. So it was honestly a waste of my time and money. But I do remember reading a review of someone saying exactly those words, which is exactly how I felt. And like knowing that you had this free 30-minute session was one of the reasons why I was like, you know what, maybe we can see if she'll ask us questions and be more engaging. And that's what you were.
Great. Okay. So, and Jay, was this your first time seeking therapy?
Yeah, I never really actually thought about it before until C mentioned it. So it wasn't really on the top of my mind, but when she said it, I didn't turn it down. I kind of just, went with the flow.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, so see, you already talked about some doubts you had. Was there anything else you wanted to add to that?
I mean, that's pretty much it. I guess another thing would was cost. Like, would we
Mhm.
be able to do this? Would it feel worth it? But I didn't really know the answer, and I didn't feel like I would know the answer until I tried it.
Okay. And Jay, did you have any doubts to going into this of whether or not to work with a therapist or specifically with me as a therapist?
Yeah, I definitely did. Just the thought of like it not working at all. So I didn't know that like paying money would actually help. Um, but getting a third party now that I did it, it I mean it definitely helped in the long run.
Okay. Um, what did you guys find as a result of couples therapy and working with me?
We're definitely happier. Um, we do know how to communicate better.
I think not just with each other, but communication in general. There have even been times when I would be having an argument with my parents, and I would stop and just think, okay, how did Dr. Sarah have us talk in her session? And I would literally apply those techniques while talking to my parents, and it would be so helpful because it would also help me calm down and also put myself in their like in their shoes, see things in their perspective. And then having them, I feel like them noticing that I'm seeing things in their perspective calms them down. And yeah, so I feel like it's helped us in so many ways than just our relationship.
That's amazing. Yeah, I always talk to clients about that. This works with everyone. Good communication is just good communication across the board.
Yeah. I mean, if you think about it, there's more partners in your life than just your significant other. So
Yes. Great point.
Yeah, it's also helped us be more grateful and focus. So I have a gratitude journal and I write it in every day. And then every day I'm also thinking, did I do something from Jay's care list? So like all of these things were stuff that we learned from you.
Amazing. And that you stuck with it.
Yes.
yeah.
Yes. Awesome. And we just, for anyone who's listening, I worked with C&J for 4 months and we completed our sessions a couple of months ago. So it's awesome to hear you guys are still applying everything we talked about.
Yeah.
Was there a moment, if not, that's fine, where you knew you had made the right choice in seeking help or specifically seeking help with me?
Yeah. So there was a couple times where I felt like I broke through a barrier that I haven't thought of before or that I didn't know I had. And it was actually during a session where, I broke through one of those barriers and I kind of just broke down. Um, but that's what'll happen. I know that with you, it kind of just naturally happened. You didn't really have to force anything out of me. So that's when I knew that you were like the right therapist for me personally.
Awesome. Thank you. Was there anything you wanted to add to that, C?
I don't know if there was a particular moment. I always, I was pretty convinced that therapy would help already. I feel like after the first session, I do know I did have this feeling in my head, we found the right therapist because I had been going through different Yelp reviews through different therapists for quite some time. And after we had just that 30-minute session with you, and we both, I guess, hung up, we were just like, wow, I think this is going to help us. And unanimously, we decided to keep going.
That's amazing.
Yeah. You saw something in us right from the beginning that we didn't even see ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
So that was one of the moments for sure, even just for like the first session.
I think
Awesome.
what I also really like is that you had us fill out that, what is it, a survey that took about an hour long. It was very detailed, but filling that out made me feel so comfortable because then I felt like, all right, now I'm just doing this once. It's all in writing, so you can see your whole backstory rather than having to keep asking about it.
Yeah, I do find that's really helpful for me as a therapist as well to kind of have it all in one place. So I'm glad you found that experience the same as a couple.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Good. What would you tell somebody who hasn't been in therapy before and is debating whether or not to try it?
One of the first things I don't know. I guess one thing I usually just say is I share my experience. I just say it's been really helpful for me. Who's never tried it? It's tough because it like varies in situations.
Yeah, I mean, especially for guys, like it is hard to just kind of open up to someone that you don't really know. So I mean, I would say just to be open to the whole concept of it. You never know what someone can do for you, so you might as well just open yourself up.
Mm.
Yeah, I feel like you don't really have anything to lose. I always just say, just do at least the first 30 minutes because I feel like that alone will allow you to determine whether or not you want to keep going with it.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Um, Another thing I just thought of that some people might find helpful to hear about is the experience. See, since you've been in therapy in the past, was that in person or online also?
It was in person.
Okay, can you speak a little bit, and both of you guys can speak to this, but the difference between online and in person, did you have any hesitation about it being online, or was that an exciting aspect for you? Kind of what was your thought process in seeking specifically online therapy?
I was pretty happy that it was online because um, driving in our area is
Yeah.
pretty rough. I didn't know if I was allowed to say it, but driving in our area is pretty rough, and the fact that we get to be in the comfort of our home and just see face to face, I don't know. I thought that was really cool, very convenient. Going into an office makes me even more nervous, and just being in this room. When I saw that therapist, I don't know. It's like kind of like what you would see in a movie,
Mm-hmm.
room with like some nice pillows and like a comfortable couch. But it's like none of that stuff really made me feel comfortable. So there's nothing more comforting than just being in your home in a quiet room and just opening up your computer and talking through video.
Yeah, I actually didn't know that it was online until like the second session. So, yeah.
What do you mean?
The rest of it was going to be in
Yeah,
person.
I thought it was only the 30-minute session.
Oh.
Yeah. So I have nothing to compare it to, but yeah, C does make like a really good point of it feels more natural and you feel more open to just talking while you're in your own home.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. And then why would you recommend working with me? And if so, why? Just any kind of last thoughts that you want to add in regards to that?
Oh yeah, I've already recommended people to you. So
Okay.
um yeah, so for me personally, like I like business and I like entrepreneurship. So for you, even like understanding that part of me, it it made it easier to tell you things, why I was doing the things that I do because you already understand that and you were kind of coaching me on that too. So that made it like far better than anybody else because you have that side of you too. Um, but also, yeah, you got stuff out of me that nobody ever could. So
I think what I really liked about you was that you asked us questions that made us think, and you weren't afraid to just tell us how it is.
yeah,
Like you would stop me and just say like, "Okay, we're going off track," and I'd be like, "Oh God," and it would be really uncomfortable, but it would be such a good lesson. Because then I would realize that I'd be doing that with a lot of other things, you
yeah,
know.
yeah,
So it was really nice. It was, just being told as it is, being that third party, um, helping. Like there was a lot of times when we would have an argument, and I'd be like, okay, maybe we should take this to Dr. Sarah, you know.
yeah,
But then we learned how to overcome those things outside of it.
yeah. And for me, it wasn't even mostly about the whole relationship aspect. It was more about like how can you improve yourself,
Mm-hmm.
so that you can be a better person in general. Which that means a lot to me rather than just focusing on like the problems of the relationship.
Yeah, I feel like we both learned. I feel like our relationship is better now because each of us individually have grown.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Amazing. Well, thank you both so much for sharing your experience. That is so helpful for people listening. And it has been such a pleasure working with you. And just thank you so much.
Yeah, of course. I will say I was really sad when we had our last session. We were really milking it out. We were like,
Aw.
what did we do once a month, 2 weeks, and or 3 weeks, and then it kind of got to this point where like we're running out of things to talk about.
Yeah, I was like, you guys don't have to keep coming, right?
I was really sad. I was like, but nah, okay.
Yeah. So I think we just want to say thank you for everything that you've done for us, like individually and together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank
Yeah,
you
you
so
really
much.
helped us. I remember I even booked a session with you spontaneously just because I was going through something personally. So I mean, it says a lot about you. You're really easy to talk to. You showed no judgment, and you really help us get through things that we never thought we could have.
Well, thank you both so, so, so much.
Of course.